What's up, my beautiful people? How's everybody doing out there? What's going on, guys? I'm the Spiritual Bodybuilder. Thank you for joining me. Today is August 11th, and we are here to talk about astrology and the energy that's going on in the world right now for this week, Down the Rabbit Hole. So first off, I want to get into, saying thank you for everybody that's been tuning in and, checking out my content. And, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of change, timelines shifting, and energy that you can see and feel. It's palpable on the macro and the micro scales, right? Let's look at the bigger picture right now as far as what's going on in the world, right? With all these mass shootings, I think Epstein just committed suicide or died. There's so much information that is being suppressed, manipulated, moved around, and it's sickening to think about everything that's going on in this world. But why is this happening? Why is all this stuff? Why, if the energy is so great, if the energy is so all-knowing and whatnot, then why is all this bad shit happening? Well, I want to take everybody back to the 60s, 1965, right? That's when we had this Pluto and Saturn opposition. Okay, 1965, that was a revolutionary time. There was so much stuff changing. The Vietnam War was going on and we were losing, right? And that's when, psychedelics and LSD became major again. And people were, rebelling against all the powers that be. We had, the civil rights movement, and we had, women's rights coming up, and all this stuff that was being the general public was being suppressed, and the people, it got ugly. There was riots going on, over, in California, and people were trying to make a statement and take a stand. There was Million Man marches going on everywhere, and the world requires rebellious activity like that in order to change, because the powers that be, they have all the power. They don't want things to change. They don't want you to know what's going on. And so they want to make you feel like you have freedom, that you have control over your life, when really we're slaves. And as long as we stay in this little box that they want to give us, then we're okay. But as soon as we actually desire freedom and actually want to think for ourselves and grow and learn and be independent and be free, that's when they start to lock it down. You really, really have to be intelligent, strong, and have a ton of willpower to work through your own stuff, right? Because a lot of this stuff, especially nowadays, there's all this attacking our subconscious mind, right? There's all this marketing and advertising towards dumbing us down. And, it's easy to get sucked into that. And this energy right now that's going on, it's bringing up the higher vibration and allowing us to see all the bullshit, right? That's why there's so much going on. Just like the 60s, we're going through another revolution. Now, instead of Pluto opposed Pluto opposed Saturn, now it's Saturn and Pluto conjunct. So that to me means it's more internal, right? Back then it was more like, everything that was outside was triggering us. Now it's our own stuff that's being triggered within ourselves, the microcosm within. And before that opposition was in Pisces and Virgo. Okay, so the Pisces and Virgo polarity is, you have Pisces, which is addiction. Pisces, which is also the connection to divine. We have Virgo, which is purification, which is structure and having everything organized. Okay, so when that's ripping apart, a lot of people feeling very lost, just going outside of themselves, trying to fill a void. Here we're trying to find that void at a deeper level and learn how to access it and process it. Okay, and no matter what you do, everyone has a void, and everyone has one thing in their life right now that they're struggling with. Everybody, and that's okay. The key is that we need to look at it, address it, be honest with ourselves. but also be kind to ourselves in the process. Because a big part of the problem here is that when we're addressing these issues within ourselves, we're super hard on ourselves, right? We just beat ourselves up, and especially you have like this common relationship between narcissists and empaths, and people in power versus people that are not in power, and then we have these different ideas about what the best way for a society to work and what is the best way to be out there. Instead of thinking good or bad, we want to think of it as effective or ineffective. What is being effective for the outcome that we want to attain? And then by doing that, we take the ego out of the picture and we're able to break down, okay, like for example, power struggle, right? If you're having a power struggle, which in one way, shape, or form, I'm sure you are, if you're engaging with society, there's some kind of thing that just, this is not right, wrong, it's not fair. It doesn't matter, not fair or good or bad or equal. It doesn't, the universe doesn't work that way. It doesn't give a shit, okay? The law of attraction is whatever you feel, whatever your vibration is, it brings it back to you, right? So whatever you have in your life, if it's not how you think you want it, but your vibration is inviting it in, then it's trying to teach you a lesson. What lesson is that trying to teach? Well, I know for me, in my life, I have a lot of stuff coming up with home and family, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. Okay, that's the sort of theme of Cancer in the fourth house. And with identifying the imbalances in the family nature, we identify the imbalances in our life purpose, in how we're looking at the world and bringing things into that next level. Okay. So we need to look at where are we not functioning like we know we can better. And it's going to trigger, we're in Trigger Town, USA, baby. And this is going to be lasting for a while. It's not going away anytime soon. So we really need to be able to look at these things. And when we feel that trigger, figure out some kind of process to bring us back down to earth, whether it's what we feel in our body, whether we just can't sleep, whether we're having nightmares. It comes in many, many different ways. All right. But hang on. Hang on to your truth. Hang on to, what is right for you. And in the process of doing that, when we get triggered, what's up, Alicia Marie, baby? How you doing? In order to be able to do that and to flow and to grow in the direction we want to go, we have to keep our impulses in check, one. And two, we have to have the courage to go in the direction that we know is right for us. Now, there may be a lot of cloudiness around that. So instead of thinking like what happens is when we think about this stuff, we think of it in a sense of good and bad, right? And what's right or not right. It's fair, it's not fair. And we have to get rid of that, okay? Because it doesn't really matter. What matters is it effective or ineffective, okay? And with that effectiveness or ineffectiveness, it is time to be honest with ourselves. Like, okay, well, what is deep down at the root? We have to get down to the core, and down at that core is where the void is, all right? So this, and, I know a lot of people, especially now, getting on to things like this, and just, the energy is always so intense and so strong and so crazy. And you know what? Yeah, right now it is. That's the times that we're living in. And it's going